sometimes your mind just wandered, and it goes back to things that happened years ago. You just never know when things start, coming back to your memory. And as I'm laying down here, I'm thinking about a period of time in my life when I was young. I was going through some issues with some family members, and I need a place to stay. And there was a family friend who owns a lot of buildings, and so I went to him and asked him if he could let me rent an apartment, to help me get on my feet and stuff. So what that person had said to me was that if I'm able to sleep, I'm just paraphrasing, I don't remember his exact word, but that's what he sort of told me, that if I sleep with him, he'll give me the apartment pretty much. And at that time I was at my low to the low. No money. Was I working? Yeah, I think I was working. I was doing babysitting and going to college and to school and stuff. So I was paying my way to college. And when he told me that, and as a young person, you see the person coming to the house, and a couple times he have helped me with my homework, and he helped me with my writing. When English is not your primary language, there's some grammatical errors that you make, and he will correct it for me and stuff like that. So, you know, you I mean, at least I had the idea of him seeing me as a young adult, just a child, but not as for him to see himself sleeping with me. So I don't remember what I told him, but I was kind of shocked to see him tell me something like that. And he had told me to meet him somewhere, not in the house or something like that. So I went to meet with him. And he came to meet me somewhere, and he was in his car when he told me that. And till this day, I don't remember what I told him, but I know I was shocked to hear this. And with the family member that I was having issues with, I set aside whatever issues that I had with that family member, and I went to her and told her what he told me, what he had told me, that he wanted to sleep with me and stuff like that. This is why, till this day, I still respect that family member to the highest level. Even though at that time, when you're teenager, young adult, you rebel, and I know my mistakes. Some of the things that I did were not right, and I learned from it and stuff like that, and I've apologized to her. But many times I go back to, like right now, out of nowhere, this just popped in my mind, right? And when I needed the apartment and I didn't have that much money to support myself and stuff like that, so I went to her and told her what that her friend had told me. I don't know if I think they were just friends. I don't think my family member, that particular family member, was sleeping with him. I don't think so. I think they were just friends. So when I told her that, and she made the conscious decision for that person to never step foot in her house ever again. So till this day, each time I think about that, I hold this family member to the highest. There's a couple things that she has done for me, and she probably didn't realize it that she has done it, but majority of the things that she's done for me was for my benefit, just to say the least, right? So that guy never stepped foot at her house ever again. But my issues with her was never at that time. Now it's resolved. The issues with her we resolve, and I'm always at her house. Sometimes she throw parties just because of my kids and stuff like that. So that is settled and done. We both move on. But the point is that as a stay-at-home mom, many times I think about myself like, you know, I pretty much like put a hold on my career. I used to do some freelance when I realized that I had to fight to get paid after spending all night. Usually when I used to do freelance around this time after, well, I didn't have kids, so I didn't have to worry about that. So around this time I'll be at the computer until 4 o'clock to be working. um I think earlier in my firstborn I was doing some freelance, yes. Even when I was working full time with no kids, I was still doing freelance architecture work. And when I had lost my job, I was still doing freelance on the side. And until I had my son, my firstborn, I was doing freelance. I'll be up all night until 4 o'clock and then just hit the sack for 2 hours before my husband goes to sleep and before my baby gets up so I could have the energy to, do some activities with my son. So when I realized that I have to fight to get paid for spending all night working, and I was like, you know what? It's not even worth it. It's not worth it for me to stay up all night and be cranky during the day, tired. And when I want to do activities with my son, I can't because I'm so tired for staying up all night. So I didn't think it was worth it for me. So I stopped. I completely stopped working. Um, till this day, I don't do any freelance. Every now and then, even though it's not a good idea to do that, when people ask me some question, advice, I'll give them my perspective. But since I have stopped, I have not really looked into the building codes, and regulations and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure it has changed completely with solar energy, all those renewable resources stuff that's being implemented, and buildings and building codes and stuff like that. So from the time I had stopped, and I'm sure whatever I have known is probably not non-existent. Maybe some of them are still there. So the moral of this is that as a stay-at-home mom, so the point of this, me bringing this up, is in terms of money, right? At my low, I did not sacrifice my body to get a place to stay. And right now, as I'm raising my kids, I've made a lot of sacrifices, cut on a lot of stuff in order for me to stay home, raise my kids, and for my husband to go to work. I mean, my husband spend more money than I do, but I think I'm looking way ahead. You know, what if? The kind of things that happen. What if certain things happen? I want to save money for future and for our kids and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if I made my point come across properly, but out of nowhere I was thinking about this, and I realized since I was young I never made money the ultimate thing for me, where I sacrifice my health, my body, to get money. And as I'm again, as a stay-at-home mom, a couple times I'm thinking, oh, you know, I could have been making such amount of money and this and that, and I always bring to mind, right now, this instant, my kids. I'm focusing on my kids, and couple issues my son, my oldest in particular, is going through. And many times, I mean, nobody wants to see their kids in pain or something is bothering them, but I feel blessed that I'm home, able to uh, him sharing his feelings with me, and where I could step in to help. And sometimes I think I could be annoyed to the people at the school, But I think my main goal this moment in my time and my lifetime is to raise my kids. And a couple times I've seen, there are things I would love to do with the kids, travel and things like that. But due to financial, it's only one parent is working, this could stay. And a lot of time, I think I sort of touch bases with that with my son, my oldest in particular, but I didn't go into full detail with him, where I sort of tell him that there's a certain period of time in your life you're gonna go through where you have two different how did I put it? There's like two uh type of ways you are living life, where when you're a kid you're being raised by your parents. We mold you to certain things, and some kids don't get that kind of molding, they branch out on their own. And there's a period of time in your life where you're gonna have your own family. Whatever you learn from us, things that you didn't like based on how we raise you, you could chip them out. Things that you enjoy, you keep them, and you flourish them, and you create your own uh, family values with your own child. And the same thing will happen with your kids. Like, for instance, the other day I was talking to my mom. Um, my mom is into church. Everything is church, church, church. And I sort of told her, look, when I was young, every Saturday, you put me on a praying thing, and I used to hate it. I hated that thing. On Saturdays, I want to enjoy myself. I want to do things. And, at that time I was in my country. I wanted to enjoy nature, do different activities, play with my friend. I didn't want to sit in a place and just pray. And I used to hate Saturdays because of that. I think it was last week I was talking to her about that, because she was saying that I should do this with my kids for church, this and that. And I told her, look, what I just mentioned to you guys, I hated it when she did that to me. The only thing I ask of my kids is just that 1 hour on Saturdays to take that religion class. And when my youngest does his communion, if next year he wants to do those classes, that's fine. My oldest, he didn't have to go to those classes on Saturdays. He asked me. I was shocked. I was shocked. He wanted to continue taking the classes. So it's not that expensive, and it's a good thing. They're teaching him positivity. So I didn't see anything bad about it. And it's the timing is the same time as I will be taking my youngest, and I put him. So my youngest is gonna do his communion. He went last year, and this year is his last year. 2 years. Next year, if he doesn't want to take any classes, I don't care. He doesn't have to. And believe me, on Saturdays, I really don't want to get up to take them, but I have to. And I just want to show them there's a religion, there's the right way to do. Once they grow up, I don't care what religion they decided to practice. I really don't care. But at least I want to show them at least the little part of my life that I was able to, my family raised me to, or taught me. And they could take it to the next level. If they want to go further into it, I don't care. They want to change religion, I don't care. But at least I want to show them a positivity about religion. And for my oldest and my youngest, the next step after their communion, my oldest already did his communion, is confirmation. That is a must. And then they could do whatever they want after that. I don't have to bother them. So yeah, I don't know if I make sense, if I'm just mumbling, but that's what was going on in my mind at this moment. So it's 7:53. Let me relax, enjoy some movies or whatever. I'm sure in a few minutes I'm gonna be knocked out. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.